2.
That's why we build them intros in. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is that time. It's NFC North Open Mic, and I'm about ready to do that one thing. We're going to do that one thing. I'm going to introduce the man, the myth. This is the man right here. He is the master of disaster. He is the king of Sting. He is the Count of Monte Frisco. And you can, I forget that other line. It is Main Event Mike.
Thank you, Mike, for that great introduction. I'm not sure what the Count of Monte Frisco means, but I'll take it. Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, all represented here. It is the NFC North Open Mic. If you're a fan of any of those teams or none of those teams, be sure to drop a comment, something in the comments for us to kick around our panel. Of course, we have the maestro, Russell Wayne, our illustrious producer, and we're also joined today by Chicago Bears fan, a friend of our show, Mr. Ken Bear Down Doby, joining us from Florida today. How's everything in Florida, Ken?
Nice, sunny, and ready for my pool.
It might be nicer here in Michigan than in Florida. I'm back from vacation. My name's Main Event Mike, and I am so glad to be back to talk about football. I'm stoked. What about you, Russ? Are we still stoked as Lions fans?
I am stoked as a Lions fan, and I actually love that Ken's got that nice little Honolulu blue glow behind him right now. It feels really, really good. I wanted to say hi to a guy, the Skywalker from the CNG podcast. You're always bringing great Bear content to it. And yeah, we did lose our page, but that's all right. While Mike is in the the people's court, going through Facebook court, trying to get our page back, we do have a brand new page, which is the main event, the NFC North Mane Event. And then we also have the Detroit Lions Villain Squad was born. And, we're just going to keep moving on. If we can get that page back, we'll repurpose it. We'll do something else with it. But for right now, like and follow that page and talk some smack. Talk some smack on us.
Yeah, so since I wasn't going to mention it, Russ, but I'm glad that you did. To anybody who's a regular watcher of this show, we were down for a week because there's a douchebag in Shelbyville, Michigan that tried to take us down and had our page shut down. But we are back. And what's the name of the new page again, Russ?
So we have this one. We're broadcasting into NFC North Mane Event, which is where a lot of people are watching. And then we are also broadcasting in Detroit Lions Villain Squad. We're preparing for that villain mantra to be, let out of the bag. They're going to be using that this year, that thing that Brad Holmes was talking about. I'm excited to see what it is. We don't even know what it is, Ken. When he says villain, what they're going to...
I want to know, do you get cartoon like the Bugs Bunny stuff? You're the Villain Squad. So we can get cartoons of the Lions now?
I don't know. I think like 1920s gangsters with the guys with the trench coats hanging out the side of the Phantom cars with the machine guns when I'm thinking like the villains, like.
Well, we've been the laughing stock of the NFL long enough. We'll take cartoons at this point if it means we're going to keep winning seasons.
At least they're talking about us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it. The Detroit Lions, it's the Villain Squad. That's the new group. That's where you can find us here at the main event. And but tonight it's the NFC North Open Mic. It's our smack talking arena. If you got some smack you want to talk about those Packers or those Vikings. Those Vikings. Let's just run the Vikings through the mud, Russ, because this
is that what we're gonna do? Are we opening up with the Viking stuff? I'm gonna throw the link into the chat right now if you guys want to pop on here with us and defend your team, because really the Vikings have been in witness protection ever since their bodies been dropping on that 31st ranked defense. How do you lose a top 10 linebacker, one of the top cornerbacks in the league off the 31st ranked defense and then talk crap?
Really? Patrick Peterson, he's arguably an all-time great. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I want to know how they got better.
The best secondary player on his team. So, what I really want to talk about though is, and maybe we'll start with Ken on this. Ken, did you hear that Justin Jefferson's going to want $30 million?
Stop playing with us.
I mean, I'm not surprised the way, if that's true, I'm not surprised the way some players are.
Well, do you think he's the best wide receiver in the NFL?
I mean, Mike, I'm speechless, Mike. I'm like $30 million for a wide receiver. I mean, you know what's going to happen?
Did we just break that news to you?
It's going to be like the running backs. Like, and then you're going to be guys like Zeke who are just going to be getting cut because they're never going to see that money, and then no one's going to want to sign them. I mean,
I disagree with that.
I get these players wanting to get paid, but come on, let's be real.
I disagree with that. This league is turning into pass happy. This is a passing league. The league itself is catering the rules to the passing game. They already are protecting the quarterbacks, and you can't touch the wide receivers. And these wide receiver salaries are just going to go up, in my opinion. We're not going to see a retroactive punishment like we do to the running backs. Not at all. And Tyreek Hill is the highest paid wide receiver. Do you think Justin Jefferson, Ken, is the best wide receiver in the NFL? I do. I think he's number one.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the case. He's the top five are all pretty well up there. The problem is going to be this. Are you going to be really paying these wide receivers $30 million a year, your quarterback $40 million a year, and then your edge rusher another $45 or $50 million a year? I mean, that's what these players got to get. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where
the league will just move the salary cap up, and the percentage will be the same as it is now, the same as it was 20 years ago. I mean, the guys were making less money 20 years ago, but they were still the same percentage of the salary cap. That's how it works.
And
so, they are going to reset the market.
Right.
And I do believe Justin Jefferson will be paid $30 million or close to it.
They won't be winning championships when they're doing that, but yeah, you can pay people however much that you want. Yeah. And really, I mean, they have a lot of playmakers there, and they did just draft Addison. And I mean, I don't know, but you're not at $30 million. I mean, there goes the TJ Hawkinson. I mean, you ain't gonna re-sign him too, right?
But if you get a quarterback on a rookie deal, who you're paying him peanuts.
Yeah, that goes to Brad's comment there. They're a dominant team in the North going forward. Not if you're paying Jefferson $30 million, have to get rid of Kirk Cousins because you can't afford him now because of the cap, because you got to have the rest of your team. So I mean, $30 million, great. I agree with you, Mike. If it's the percentage of the salary cap, stays the same, yeah, $30 million is attainable, but not. That's probably 5-6 years off, not 2 years off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I want to say, I wanted to say something to Brad right here, man. You're more than welcome to pop on. I actually appreciate you being in the comments and defending your team. I mean, he believes that they're going to be good. I would like to know why you think that they're going to be dominant with a bunch of guys. I know Flores is a great hire for you guys, but you need talent. I mean, you can coach X's and O's all day long, but if you don't have talent, you ain't going to win in the NFL. Right. So you just dropped all your talent and you're just expecting it just to be better.
Yeah, and Jordan Addison, sure, he's a great player, but you had very few limited draft picks in Minnesota. You needed to address that defense with some young, cheap, good talent, and they didn't do that.
So Brad says that, these contracts won't be, this is a 2-3 year down the road thing. And I disagree with that, Brad. Justin Jefferson's got the eyeballs on the money right now. He wants to get paid right now. He ain't going to go through any more of this rookie contract not getting paid. He'll hold out. Like,
he'll have to play 2023. It's 2024.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is going forward for 2024, if he doesn't have a contract going into next season, he will hold out because he's not going to be on a rookie contract. Being the best wide receiver in the league.
Then he'll be on the franchise tag playing for $18 million.
Yeah.
That is true. That they'll keep on kicking that can down the road. I mean, that is true. So that's a good point there by Brad. I'll take that point on the chin. That's a good one. I mean, he will want $30 million, but maybe they can just force that can down the road. But players.
But that comes back to what Mike was saying. It comes back to percentage of salary cap. In 2 years, $30 million for receivers doesn't make sense with the percentages of the cap. I mean, okay, we're not paying running backs anymore, right? It's rookie contract and you're out of the league. Okay, let's say that's the way forward, and wide receivers who seem to have more longevity, will start getting the money on like the running back. So I could see it more as a paradigm shift. Because the big thing was like you got a star running back like a Zeke Elliott or something, you gave him the money. And the receivers didn't get the money. But maybe that's the paradigm shift. It's okay, the receivers didn't get the money. The running backs, we're keeping them on the rookie deal. And after the rookie deal, they'll get a small pay raise, but not much else if they survive that long.
But do you really think they could get it? Because, look what just happened to the running back market. Like, all these guys went and got paid $1 gazillion through the year. And the best thing that Saquon Barkley ever did was sign that franchise tag, because the running backs were so devalued this year going into free agency that, these high-end running backs they're not getting double digit, or they're not getting 10 million no more.
Only four running backs make more than $10 million a year in the league right now. Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, and there's one more, Christian McCaffrey. Those are the only guys that are making double digits right now as running backs.
So do you think that would just immediately jump and translate to wide receiver? And like,
it's already happening. They get $20 million a year now.
Yeah, but they ain't winning. I mean, they're getting $20 million a year to play for the Raiders. I mean, you ain't going to go to no good teams are going to pay that.
The Dolphins do.
What did that translate into those championships? And they do still have a quarterback that's on a rookie deal in their defense. They can't afford to pay more because they're paying less on the quarterback position.
And you're going to see the Vikings do it too, because you don't let a guy like Justin Jefferson walk.
Right.
You know how many number 18s you saw there when you were at the stadium, US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. With revenue sharing, these teams are all profitable. They're not going to let Justin Jefferson go. They'll figure out a way to keep him, sign him, and build a team around him to be competitive.
Yep, and they'll have to get rid of the Cousins contract. They'll have to do that with a rookie contract on quarterback, and they're not going to be able to pay not going to be able to keep Hawkinson, and they're not going to be able to keep long-term defensive players. So they're going to be making sacrifices. So they have to hit on a draft where they don't have draft picks. So their future is weird. They're in a weird flux. They're going to have to go through some type of, they're not just going to stumble through this and, win championships. The teams that are good are really, really good in the NFL. They're really good.
So I'm sorry, I took a second to check this out. Saquon does not have a contract right now. He's still a free agent. The tag has been assessed to him. He has not signed the tag. And he just recently rejected the $14 million offer. And the other guy who got tagged this year was it
Josh Jacobs?
Right? Josh Jacobs has not signed either. So both these running backs who are franchise
they have until July 14th to sign the tag, and they will.
Right. So, we're making the assumption they will.
They will.
And I think Mike, I agree with you. I think they will, but right now you and I are making the assumption. But I mean, it's the tag is the new standard for the running back, and maybe that money's shifting to the wide receiving group, and it's gonna be interesting to see with some big wide receivers within division. Within division, almost every team is going to have this issue in the NFC North over the next 2 years.
Right. Well, anytime a new contract's going to come up, it happens every year with the rookies that are going into their 4th and 5th year. I mean, the guys played; they might have been average, or they might have been above average, but they're still going to be going for market value for whatever that position is. Right. Even if they're just like maybe a above average type of dude that doesn't deserve top tier money, well, it's their turn to get paid, and they're going to get paid whatever the market's going to dictate right there. Right. So it's a weird thing, but it just so happens that the wide receiver market's about ready to get punched in the face because Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL, and he needs to get paid.
Right.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how that breaks down, though.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Gee, Walker.
In, Russ.
Yo, can y'all hear me out there? Can you hear me? Hey, I don't know what's going on with StreamYard today, but it's not letting me put a picture up or anything, man. I have no idea. I promise. Like, I don't see none of my avatar stuff in here.
No, we can't see you, but you've never looked better.
Sorry, man. I'm going through StreamYard right now. I'm looking. I'm like, why is none of my stuff is on here? This is weird.
Hey, guys, congrats on your son's graduation. It was good to see that.
Oh, man, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Mike.
Looks like he's got a promising career on the hardwood.
You know what? He does, man. He works really hard. He's naturally talented, and he listens. So if all three of those things work for you, you might actually end up being better than good.
Oh, that's great, man. Let's hope for that. Our other guest, Ken Dobie's got a boy too, his wide receiver down there in Florida. And isn't he already 6'5", Ken?
I wish. No, he's 5'8", almost at 5'9". He's gonna be a sophomore this year. They're already doing they're in summer football right now, right? He's got practice every day.
Awesome, man.
Right on, man. Well, that's great for you guys. I hope they all become really rich pros, and you invite us down to the box for press box seats, and you don't forget about us.
Never, man. Never.
Awesome. Well, yeah. All right. So, hey, man, Chicago Bears. We got 2 Bear fans in here.
Yep. Let's shift it. Let's shift it. We'll go on Bears here.
Yeah. We were talking about Justin Jefferson getting $30 million, guys. So let's have you chime in on that before we talk about the Bears. Do you think the Vikings are going to end up paying that, and is it justified?
Is it justified? I mean, his production says it's justified. You know what I mean? He's been one of the top wide receivers for the last few years. So it's justified. You are what your production is, right?
Yeah.
So he's a
Correct.
He's a #1 wide receiver. They got rid of Dalvin Cook, right? He's not that they cut
not
him.
yet, but it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, foregone conclusion. This happened yesterday. I'm just joking. It's happening soon. But he's the guy. Like, when you get rid of your top running back, and and you've been performing up to this level of outside, and he's exceeded that contract he's on. So he's going to set the new wide receiver deal. You know what I mean? Contract going forward. But
he's going to set the market.
He's nice. There's nothing I can say about you. Every time he plays us, he destroys us. I mean, I don't know if that's saying anything, but hey, he's in your division. Why not pay the guy that's one of the top guys in the division, on your team that's going against these Bears cornerbacks that you can exploit and that you can potentially beat every Sunday. You know what I mean? You got to pay him.
Guy, do you think
he does
he's
that to
the
a lot
best
of people
in the league? Do you think he's the best at the position in the league? Better than Cooper Kupp? Better than Devontae Adams? Better than Tyreek Hill? Is he #1?
You know what? It's kind of hard to say who's #1 out of all of those guys, just because all those guys can perform. And they've all been doing it for a long amount of time and a great number of years. So it's kind of hard to say. But to give you an answer, I don't think he's better than Devontae, man, because I seen him get shut down by somebody last year.
Yep.
He couldn't even get open. I forgot who it was against Green Bay.
Jair Alexander shut him down. And so did Jeff Okuda in week 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, you got guys in that division that could, shut him down. So, is he the best? No, I'm going to go with Devontae, then Cooper Kupp, then Tyreek Hill, and then I'm going to go with I'll go with Justin Jefferson at the end of that.
So that's in the top 5.
You got a couple in front of him.
One. Russell Wayne, do you think he's number 1?
I mean, I love that definition number 1 because I think Guy is right when it comes to that, where you're putting these guys up against each other. And I think he is a bona fide number 1. He plays the number 1 receiver as good as anybody. I mean, you could argue Devontae's better. You can argue that Tyreek Hill is better, faster, whatever.
Right.
You can make an argument, but he does it good. He does it every bit as good. He's the best route runner and actually pure pass catching wide receiver. As far as just playing the wide receiver, I'm going to catch the ball, do stuff with the ball, score touchdowns. I think he's the best at that. But I think Amon-Ra is a more complete wide receiver than Justin Jefferson. So that might be a debate for a different day, but I think it depends on what you're looking at. Oh, there we go. Mr. Fox Sport, I say Justin Jefferson's name, and it's like, all of a sudden, Jamez.
I'm gonna mute my mic for a second, guys. I'm gonna mute my mic. I'll be right back.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Jamez, it's our good friend Jamez.
What is going on?
Minnesota, welcome back to the program. We're running your Vikings through the mud, Jamez.
Are you? Oh, what else is new? What else is new around here?
When we're talking about Justin Jefferson, rumored to be asking $30 million. Can you shed any light on it?
That sounds about right to me. I mean, shit, that sounds about the number that you should expect, man. And the thing about it is, I think they're already putting that money together for him, man. They're already putting. I think some of these casualties that we've seen are got something to do with him getting paid, man. And I'm not that pressed about it, man. I think 30 is about what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about 32 million at the most is what I'm thinking. That would make him the highest. I think highest paid player that's not a quarterback.
No, he get paid more than Goff.
That's
crazy. That's
so
crazy.
Russ, are you gonna let him get away with this? He's saying, "Yeah, man, give him $32 million a year."
I mean, hey, no, I'm good. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Hey, man, when you're the best wide receiver. Hey, man, when you're the best wide receiver, you think you motherfuckers think St. Brown's not about to want some money out of Detroit? You crazy as hell. He might not want Justin Jefferson money, but I'm thinking 23 to 25 million.
We got the money. You ain't got the money. We got.
You ain't gonna have it. You ain't gonna have it soon. You ain't gonna have it soon.
We'll be fine.
Y'all not building better capital. We're gonna have way more money than Detroit these next couple years, man.
We're gonna be fine. We have
all these 1 year deals you motherfuckers passing out. You guys are trying this shit like the Rams, man, and I hope it works for you. But not really.
We're trying nothing like the Rams. Everything is all our guys are first, second, and third year guys, dude. We have a young team, and our team just gets to get better through progression.
Your model is
you're hoping that
players leave. I don't get it.
You guys, the thing about it is Detroit. You guys are trying to get. You guys are trying to get. You're trying to get one. You guys are aspiring to get on the level that Minnesota's already on, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys, man. The best team you guys could possibly put together this year. I've seen that team already, and it's that team, and not even that team went the distance. So you motherfuckers better calm down, man.
Hey, I ain't calming nothing down. You can bring it. You ain't got nobody on that defense.
As for now, we're the cream of the crop.
Now is going to toss around your little defensive line.
Dude, hey, Darisaw is about to hold Hutchinson to all zeros across the board again, bro. Okay. All zeros across the board. 0 sacks, 0 pressures, 0 tackles.
Go ahead,
who's your right tackle? What are you going to do about James Houston?
Anybody worried? James Houston, that ain't no household name. We ain't worried about that. We ain't worried about that dude. Did he have double-digit sacks last year?
Said, yeah, he had 8.5 sacks.
That's not double digits. Both of my starting edges had double-digit sacks last year, man. As bad as my defense was. They both had double-digit sacks. Both sides, man.
They're not even there anymore. What were you going to say?
Well, Danielle Hunter's still not here. Even Danielle Hunter had 10.5. Man, are you serious?
You got
Ken's been waiting.
Detroit whooped Minnesota's ass the last time we played them, dude.
Oh my God, here we go. And then you fumbled the bat. Well, you know what you should have did? You know whose ass you should have whooped that was more important? You should have whooped Carolina's ass, God damn it. Sure. That's whose ass you needed to whoop.
8-2 down the stretch. Yeah, we lost to Carolina.
You would have been in the playoffs for sure, though. I think.
For sure. I mean, we lost to Carolina, but we didn't lose to Minnesota.
Yeah, well,
at the end of the year.
But did you lost to Minnesota though, right? Did you sweep Minnesota?
We didn't sweep. Actually, you know what? You do. You get the split. You get the split. You got the crown. What am I talking about? I'm just some crappy Lions fan.
No, that doesn't give me the crown, but that puts me. Hey, no, Russell, that puts me in a better boat than Green Bay and Chicago. It put me in a slightly bigger boat than Green Bay and Chicago because I didn't get the brooms brought out.
But I'll tell you, man, this ain't the same Detroit Lions team, man. I mean, I'm gonna
I'll buy that.
I can't argue with you because I ain't got no history. I ain't got nothing to back it up. I'm just a loudmouth, immature man telling you how great the Detroit Lions are going to be, and it's all right. I mean,
no, see. No, you're great. You guys deserve. You guys deserve to be. You guys deserve to be pumping your fist right now. And you guys have. And Brad Holmes, you guys have put some nice shit together. See, I'm gonna tell you, he doesn't get enough talk. But that dude, Jack Campbell, I used to watch that motherfucker actually in Capitals. That dude's a dog, man. And if he's not starting, there's something wrong. I don't see much on the depth chart that's stopping him from being a day one starter for that team. And he's a dog, but he's one of them guys that I wish the Vikings could have tried to make a maneuver for. But at the end of the day, man, I'm trusting the process around here. The fact that, man, we still got some shit over here, man. This offense has a lot of stuff you have to worry about, man. Still, with Dalvin Cook or without Dalvin Cook, even though that shit's starting to play out. I'm just waiting for that stuff to be over with, man.
Well, I'll just tell you what, man. If I'm living vicariously through you, I've seen your story before. And it doesn't play out well when it comes to getting into that problem where you start to maneuver the cap around, where you gotta work some magic because that wasn't part of your plan. Like,
not right now. You're gonna see that payoff.
Like now you're planning on a fly. You build a plan. You build your team. You got the brand new regime comes in, and then he builds his roster up to where he thinks it can be, and then you get your move. Then you make your move, and then you try to get that championship, and that's what you guys did. I salute you for that, brother.
No, he's not done, dude. Why do you think that even though some of these guys are good, that they're having to get up out of here? But dude, we're preparing for the future as well. You guys just don't see. I'm not even want to look that far down the road. But he, as far as the money and the cap situation, dude, he's doing exactly what he needed to do. Okay. Now, I will admit. No, I'm not happy. Now I will admit. Now some of the draft. Or I'll say order picks in deals that he's made have been suspect. They have been suspect to say the least.
That's true. I love that.
I will admit that.
Like it is. You always call it like it is, even if it's not. All roses. Can we let Ken Dobie have a word now? Ken?
He's been like Russ has been going forever.
I've been eating my popcorn over here, watching you two go at it. But it's funny. You both can sit down because neither of you have nearly as much money as the Chicago Bears do. So when Justin Jefferson wants $32 million, and the Vikings are up against going, well, we've only got 25. We'll just walk in the door and say, hey, Justin, why don't you move down, down the road about 8 hours? We got you because we've got $100 million next year.
Yeah,
that's the take you've been waiting to get in. That's the take I squeezed in for you, man. Is that terrible?
Oh, I love it.
I love it, Russell.
I love that take right there. He's gonna go in and snipe. They're saying the Bears are gonna come in and snipe Justin Jefferson. I love it.
I think Cincinnati might have a chance, but where are the Bears still sitting at about $37 million right now?
For this next season, we're at $37 million. We have to spend about another 20 to be compliant, and then for next year, we're projected by over the cap right now to have $100 million, which will be the most in the league for next year as well to spend. So the Bears are looking good money wise.
Well, so are the Lions. Next year the Lions have over $90 million themselves. I mean, and that's with Jared Goff under contract. So, we don't have to change much, and we're going to get way more money next year. So
I just think that this contract situation with the wide receivers is interesting. That how we're seeing the paradigm shift from the running back to the wide receiver. And we're seeing how teams. It's going to be an adjustment period as teams get out of their Delvin Cook contracts and King Henry contracts and start putting that money at the wide receiving core. Look, the Bears are really lucky right now. Not only did the Poles pull off probably the best trade of the draft with the number 1 pick because we got DJ Moore, but that DJ Moore contract for the number 1 receiver is very team friendly. And that's we got 2 years of that contract before we got to think about giving him a raise, and then we're gonna have, we got some other people we're gonna have to address. But if you think about it, now for the way the receiver market's going, that trade looks even better because of that team friendly contract that we got along with DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm on record saying that I really like that trade, but we do have a new guest on. We actually have Brad, the Viking fan. We actually have 2 Viking fans on the show right now, and you want to come in and you want to defend your team right now. We're talking about Justin Jefferson and his $30 million. How do you feel about that?
It's just what it costs to play the game these days. It's not that it's going to be any different for any other team. What we're looking at is we'll be at the front end of what's going to be mega contracts for wide receivers going forward. So we might find ourselves in a good situation once we give this contract to Justin Jefferson. We lock up probably what's the most incredible receiver in the game going forward for a little while other teams are looking to catch up and paying top dollar for second-tier wide receivers. And that's really just how this all works out. When you play fast forward on these contracts, we saw it with quarterbacks. We're just playing catch up now. Running backs have kind of gone there. The game has gone away from the running back. And unless that running back can catch a whole bunch of passes out of the backfield for you, we're just not spending it there. And we're just going to turn that money around and give it to wide receiver.
That's a great take, Brad.
Good take.
Thanks for being on the show, by the way. And I think he makes a great point there. If we look at what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes, right? They signed him to a 10-year contract where it makes him the highest paid quarterback, but it's only a few months before he's not the highest paid quarterback.
Right.
But now the Chiefs are kind of ahead of it. Now Patrick Mahomes is undoubtedly the best quarterback in the league, but he's the 4th or 5th highest paid now because these contracts have exceeded it. And to Brad's point, the Chiefs got ahead of it, and maybe the Vikings would be doing that as well at $32 million. So that's a great side of the topic that we haven't even looked at yet. Russ.
Yeah, I haven't even thought of that.
Well, Mike, I'm getting really, really nervous right now. I mean, we are absolutely surrounded by Viking fans right now. I may have said too much, but we got Rob Haspels in the house, and we definitely have
from the VWO. Our Viking fans. How are you, Rob?
Good. How are you guys?
So good. Welcome back to the program. So your all-world wide receiver, Justin Jefferson's claiming he's going to want $30 million. How do you see that playing out?
That seems to be. I was actually thinking more like 32 or 33 a year. That's
it is the same thing.
It is crazy. Like that. Look at the way the market is, and the other guys are getting paid. And I mean, he believes, whether you guys believe or not, he believes he's the best wide receiver in the league. And when he gets extended and gets his paycheck, he's probably going to be paid by it. But here's the thing: we're all going to look at it when he does get this paycheck, and we're going to go, Jesus, criminy, that is insane money. Just wait. The year after that, somebody else will get paid more.
Yep.
It's nuts.
Yep. Well, but I disagree with that. I think that Justin Jefferson would absolutely set the top of the market for this wide receiver, and I think that the other wide receivers would come in under that. I mean, I know that they would probably make the claim. There's a couple of them that make the claim, but I mean, but people are realistic about that kind of thing.
But then, because you got to think at the standpoint, teams now get to approach the receiver with, well, if you want this type of money, you better be doing me Justin Jefferson type things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So him being the one, because I think that this panel agrees and that he can absolutely make the argument that he's the best wide receiver. It's definitely in that range. Even if you say he's top 5, he's still a number 1 bona fide kick your ass kind of wide receiver.
Yeah.
So he deserves
to
to
be
be
the highest paid. When you're the highest paid, that means you're the number 1.
Yeah, you better do it.
Do y'all remember when Christian Kirk set the market off back when was it Arizona gave him all that money?
Yep, I thought that was dumb too.
That started it all, man. That started it all.
The only reason why I say that is, and I don't know where, let's say some of the top guys, I don't know where Tyreek Hill is. I don't know where Devontae Adams is in terms of contracts. I don't know where, Stephon Diggs is sitting, Cooper Kupp, any of that. I'm interested to see what they're going to ask for if Justin Jefferson does get this kind of money, and he will. He will.
Yeah.
I think Devontae Adams is making $28 million per year right now. I think he's getting 28.
Is that what he's getting? So
yeah, he's getting 27 to 28 million right now.
So he would reset the market. It wouldn't be out of the realm for him to ask for 30. That's just crazy, because I think that, when I think of Jared Goff making $32 million, and then here's a wide receiver making $32 million.
But Russell, here's the thing, though.
That's crazy.
Here's the thing, though, Russell. It's all cyclic. It's a cyclic thing. So right now, the soup du jour right now in the NFL is the wide receiver position. That's the thing. That's what everyone wants to sign. Well, you know what? 5 years from now, when we're talking about some, Bijan Robinson's going to want $42 million for his contract because it's going to be running back cyclic. So, right now it's the running backs are on the back burner. The tight ends have taken a little bit of a hit too, right? We saw that market kind of downshift a little. The wide receiver market is the up market right now. The quarterback is always going to be an up market, and in 5 or 6, 7 years, that's going to shift. And because what's going to happen? Defenses are going to shift against the passing game, and now teams are going to go back to a running game. That's the way this league works. It's not going to be a wide receiver league for the next decade. It's going to have to shift again, because as defenses catch up to the wide receiver league, okay, well, now what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to run, because everyone's set up to play against the passing game all day, but they're not set up for the run, so I'm going to run.
Buddy. No way. No way. They're accentuating the passing game in the NFL.
I will agree with the philosophy, yes, but having that number 1 paid workhorse running back, I think is going to always stay a thing of the past, unless it's a super generational talent, because teams that are winning Super Bowls year after year are doing it with running back by committee. Now, you look at the Vikings last year finally made the statement unequivocally. The focal point of the Minnesota Vikings is Justin Jefferson and only Justin Jefferson. No running back. It's not Kirk Cousins. None of that. It will be Justin Jefferson as long as Justin Jefferson's on that team. And you look at all the teams, with the exception of people that have an amazing quarterback, like Patrick Mahomes is the focal point of the Kansas City Chiefs, right? But there are a lot of the best teams out there, the guys that are getting it done, they have that stud running back that's like a top 5 or a top 10 running back in the league, or a wide receiver in the league, and the running backs are by committee.
Yeah. Well, there isn't, the bell cow ones aren't really there anymore, but we do have a new guest on here. I wanted to get to a couple of the comments that were in here too. Al Davis, I love that. If they pay Jefferson all that money, how will they pay Hawkinson? I did bring that up earlier. Yeah, when you're paying guys that amount of money, you gotta. You can't pay everybody that amount of money. You gotta pick, and you might as well have the best wide receiver in the game. So that's what they're saying. I
have an answer for that when you're ready, but go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Hey, man. Welcome to the program, Anthony Stewart.
All right. It's good to be here. Good to be here. I'm just going to sit up and listen for a minute. I don't want to just jump in. I was listening to you guys. Okay. So I'll listen for a minute.
I always wondered, Anthony, did you go by Tony before the NASCAR driver got famous?
No, I was always Anthony. Actually, my friends, my real friends, call me Amp.
Okay, you're a Lions fan, right, Anthony?
He's got better taste than that, Mike.
No. I'm all Bears. All Bears all the time.
Oh, he's bared down. It's bared down.
Anthony, I have to ask you, and Jamez.
Oh, all right.
We lose him. Okay.
What did he say?
Russell,
He'll ask when he comes back.
answer the question you put on the table. They did an extension. A lot of people didn't pick up on this. They did extend Danielle Hunter. So there's really 4 or 5 main guys that want to extend. So Hawkinson's one of them. Justin Jefferson's the obvious. Darisaw for sure. And then they wanted, if Hunter was going to stick around, they're going to work that. What they're doing, the way that they're setting these contracts up, because I've done some reading on it, there's going to be big chunks of money that hit in these contracts, but each of these 4 guys is going to have their big chunk hit a different year. Not everybody's going to have the big chunk of money hit, like let's say in 2024, right? Some people, their big chunk's going to hit in 2025. You know, the way they're staggering this is so that they can give everybody what they want, but it's not going to be like you're getting exactly $32 million every single year. It's going to be staggered out. It's going to pay different amounts each year because they've got really this core of 4 or 5 guys that they want to pay. So if you do that, some people are going to get a big payday in 24, others in 25, some in 26.
You're absolutely right. They're building
and a lot of it's going to be,
but the only way to do that is to tear it down to the studs to start over, unless if you're already starting out in cap hell, like the Lions.
Yeah, but
like
we're not. We're not. We actually have money to work with right now, especially with the Danielle Hunter extension the other day. We're not in cap hell. In fact, I've heard that they're actually working on the Justin Jefferson extension now this year. Which
that makes sense.
And the thing with Hawkinson, and I want just to answer Al Davis' question, man. Hey, there's rumored that he wants the upwards of Travis Kelce's money. Travis Kelce money. Pardon me. And the way I feel about that, and I'm sure the Vikings do too. If you want that, man, prove it to us this year. You know, you got the full year with us this year, not just 10 games. Go out there and have, don't drop ball, be consistent, and have put up those kind of numbers for the Vikings. He'll get his money.
They're also going to
put a lot there for a second.
They're also going to put a lot into signing bonuses, a lot into workout bonuses, and they've started adding void years and stuff like that on the contracts. There's ways they can make it work. They already started.
All right, Mike.
Rob Brzezinski, best in the game.
We got a couple new people.
Contracts, right? The contracts, and they're getting very good. We're seeing this. That hey, a guy signed for X amount of dollars, but X amount of dollars never seems to hit the salary cap because of the way they write the language of these contracts with certain money.
Yeah, that's what Rob's saying. Yeah.
I mean, that's what Bill and I have gone back and forth on every year. The Bears have no money. The Packers have no money. In reality, they've always all got money. It's how they shift it. It's how they curate it. Ways to make it where it never even affects the cap because of the type of a bonus it is or an incentive it is. So there's always these workarounds. And Rob, the only thing where I think might be getting into hard water here is this. With, okay, I'm going to pay you a chunk next year, Jamez a chunk the year after that. I'm going to give Main Event Mike a chunk the year after that. But here's the problem. Players are wanting more and more guaranteed money now, right?
Yep.
Look at Lamar. Look at Roquan, the guy whose helmet's right there next to my head, right? They all want more guaranteed money. If this trend of guaranteed money happens more, it becomes even harder for these GMs to play the hide the money game, and it's going to affect, what we're seeing on the field as far as them being able to have more than one big guy or
signing bonuses.
So that's
they make the guarantee and signing.
They can find money whenever they want to find money. That's
but they're not going to be able to find money anymore if it's all guaranteed and it's locked into salary cap versus now it's all guaranteed and there's a way they can lift and shift and move money around.
We're forgetting about the X factor in all this.
Wrap up, Ken.
The Minnesota Vikings hold the X factor, and that's Rob Brzezinski. He's been the best in the game at finding money for a long, long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all really good. I'm sorry, all these GMs are really good at finding money. The Bears have always done it, even if you had bad management. The Packers under Gutekunst always seem to find money. All these GMs are good at finding money. But the difference makers can be this. As more contracts become guaranteed, fully guaranteed contracts, that will affect the cap situation because now you're going to have to sign this guy for this 5-year, $400 million contract, and you're literally going to have to pay all of it. And that's going to jack up your dead cap. It's going to jack up your ability to cut a guy. It's going to make it hard to trade a guy. The Rodgers trade is one of these last deals where, he was due like all this money, and we got traded like, what the hell is cap? It's like $9 million, but he's getting 60 this year. It's because of the way they're doing the money that was able to happen. But that's going away as we get more of these. And Justin Jefferson's going to want a truckload of that guaranteed. He's not going to say, give me 32 a year, but only 10 million of it guaranteed. I bet he's going to want close to all of that guaranteed.
Look at that.
That's a great point. Brady won Super Bowls by throwing wide receivers to scrubs. I think that you got to have a plan. If you're going to give $30 million to Justin Jefferson, you've got to have. I mean, somebody's not getting paid, right? I mean, there's only so much room under the salary cap, and I just don't think that this move makes sense. I think you could take that $30 million and get 2 or 3 other impact players for the same price. Sure, Justin Jefferson's great, but that's just too much.
Well, I'll tell you who's not getting paid. It's the entire defense.
You're hamstringing the rest of your team. You're hamstringing your team's ability to be able to sign all these other guys. Even if you raise the salary cap, you're stretching it all out too thin. You got scrubs, too many scrubs on the field for that.
Wait a minute. But wait, are the Vikings in a position? Are they rebuilding, or are they in a position to where they have a championship window? That's the thing. How long are y'all going to keep
competitive rebuild?
I wouldn't even use the word rebuild. The defense
is a great call-out. They made their push last year. They pushed their chips in and went out in the first round. Now they've lost. Patrick Peterson's an all-world player at one time. He's Darius Smith, Eric Hendricks.
Patrick Peterson's not all-world anymore, man.
Neither was Peterson.
So it's lining up for Justin Jefferson to get his money.
Going to help that.
Patrick Peterson was better than Byron Murphy last year.
Peterson was a liability when he was man.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Eric Hendricks.
He had a higher man-to-man grade than Byron Murphy.
Eric Hendricks fell off the cliff, man. I'm sorry, but we gave up a lot of veteran talent. We have a whole lot of rookies and second-year guys running around back there now, and a couple free agent acquisitions. But you got to look at it. You mentioned Kendricks, you mentioned Darius Smith, you mentioned Patrick Peterson. Those guys were all very healthy contributors to the 31st ranked defense. It's one of the worst ones I've seen in a decade in Minnesota. That was horrible. Now, if you are blaming the defensive coordinator and the game plan, you're probably right on 50% of the problem. But face it, we needed to get younger, and that's where we're saving money too.
So let me ask you this. Let me say this.
That was perfectly said.
Let me say this. So you're gonna give Justin Jefferson $30 million when, and I mean that's not my team, but I'm just making an opinion. You give a wide receiver $30 million when you're gonna need a quarterback. You're gonna have to pay a quarterback sooner or later. You're gonna have to draft one. Kirk Cousins is good, but you're gonna need a quarterback. That's a lot of money for a wide receiver.
Anthony Stewart, we already got him. Jared Hall, BYU, baby. We already got him.
Yeah, check it out. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback until he steps on that field and he shows you what he has in the NFL. We're not just the same way you guys critique. The same way you guys critique Justin Fields is the same way you critique any other rookie. Until he steps on that field and shows what he has, then you don't have a quarterback.
I tell you what's going to happen.
We'll worry about that when Kirk Cousins no longer here.
Kirk Cousins is going to sign a team-friendly contract for another 3 years and ride off into the sunset and win a championship in Minnesota and go down as the best quarterback to ever play.
Okay,
you guys
with the Super Bowl.
Glad until that last part of it.
Kirk Cousins is not going to do anything
with the Super Bowl.
You just watch. Kirk Cousins is going to bring home the Lombardi.
Sure is. He sure is.
Are you calling that for 2023?
No. By the end of 2026. I said 2025.
He's got 3 more years.
I told y'all by the end of the 2025 season, the Vikings will be Super Bowl champions.
Holy
and
cow.
what year is that?
I liked it better.
What year is that again?
Fans were missing.
By the end of the 2025 season, mark my words.
And what do you guys
Now,
think
was
about
that
that?
all pro or is that all Madden?
Put it in the comments. Tell us what you think. Are these Vikings fans? I'm convinced now, J-Mez, that vaporizer you have doesn't have nicotine in it.
Man, you know what? I didn't come on to criticize any team. But that is funny. I didn't come on to critique any team, but that is funny, man. What'd you say about 2025?
Yes, you did. You're on the main event.
Hey, you know what? I just hope I'm still here. I hope I'm still here in 2025.
You'll be here.
You'll be here within the next 3 years. Listen, I cannot believe you just said that.
I'm telling you what I'm
denial. Yes, you got a good offense, but your defense is in trouble this year. The other teams in your division got better. The Bears got much better. The Lions.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Hey, it's on tape. It's good.
Mike, I'm hearing you say it, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm hearing you say it, but the Lions haven't proved to me jack squat yet.
Hold on. Come on. Everybody can't talk over everybody.
Time out. I just got one thing to say. None of y'all have a Lombardi. Me and Anthony do. Until you get one, you're done.
That's the dumbest argument in the history of the world. That is the dumbest argument. Why are we even here if that's your argument? It's like we shouldn't argue. At all, because we don't have a Lombardi. So
the team closest to Minnesota in the division is Detroit, but Detroit needs a minimum of 3 years of winning games before they figure out how to win. They're going to be losers until they prove how to win.
Until Detroit wins consistently. Last year they had a great season. Until they win consistently. You know, which of course I'm a Bears fan, so I don't know much about that. But I know consistency when I see it. So yeah, last year the Lions were good, but can you do it this year and the year after and the year after? I don't think so.
Why are you saying we were good? We won 9 games and didn't make the playoffs. We weren't good. We got better.
For Detroit standards, you were.
When is the last time Detroit won 9 games? You guys got good. Let's not play around. When is the last time Detroit won 9 games? You guys were good last season. Come on, man. Hey. Being humble doesn't fit you, man.
Listen to me. I'm not being humble. I'm not being humble. I'm just saying that. Well, you just said we had a great season last year.
I said you had a good season.
And 9-8 is not good. You don't make the playoff. A good season is making the playoffs and getting outed in the first round. We got better. We started out 1-6, bro. We were 1-6 when we started out. That is not good.
They need to figure out that gambling issue. That's one thing that's going on right now.
Yeah. Why do you look at?
I bet they won't do that again.
Mike. I just shared it to the CNG page, Mike. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, we shouldn't worry about that much going forward.
This is fun. I can't believe we spent. This is great. We talked for 51 minutes about this Justin Jefferson thing. And Mike was telling me at the beginning, he's like, man, nobody's going to have anything to talk about. It's the offseason. I'm like, dude, you just say a trigger word on this panel. We can talk about it for an hour.
Told me earlier, all Vikings fans are witness protection. We haven't been able to find Viking fans. Now they come out of the woodwork when we start running them into the ground. I love that.
So here's last question for the panel on Justin Jefferson. Real quick question for you.
All right, let's have Brad finish this off.
We got a question.
Go ahead, Brad.
Real quick question for all of you. So if you knew that you could have a wide receiver that would offer you a 95-yard per game average, because that's where he's at right now, 94 point something. If you knew you could have that week in and week out, is that worth $32 million?
No. Not with the salary cap the way it is. That's too big of a percentage.
Let me ask this question. Let me tell off that question.
Wait, guys. Let's go one by one.
We're going to kick it over to Anthony to answer that question. Anthony,
okay.
If the Bears had a receiver that could generate the way Justin Jefferson.
Okay. So I'm going to tell Ian off of that question. Right? Check this out. Is he not? I'm talking about Justin Jefferson. Is he not in the top 5 wide receivers in the league?
You're answering the question with a question, Anthony. We got to get around the panel, my friend.
I mean, this is the only way to answer the question. I'm saying that he's the best, man.
Answer the question.
He is. He's definitely in the top 5.
$32 million.
He's the best ever at games per or yards per game average.
No as well. I say no as well. Ken Doby, same question. If you're the GM of the Chicago Bears, you'd be better looking, number one. Number two, would you give Justin Jefferson $32 million?
If his production's worth it, then yeah, especially with age, and he's still young, and the production. Look, he's top 5 guy in the league, so yeah, you would give it to him. And I think right now, where the Bears kind of have that, a DJ Moore at a much cheaper price. So yes, I mean Jefferson he's a more of a low risk, high reward, I think, with that $32 million than a lot of other wide receivers out there would be. So yeah, I think he would be smart money in the current market.
Right on. Now we'll go back to you now, Anthony. What was you going to say? What was your other point?
No, he just hit it on the head. Low risk, high reward. I mean, but look at 97 yards per game, man. You can get D-Hop for that. You can get D-Hop for that. I mean, for the short term, you can get D-Hop
right now.
A lot less.
Not even right now.
The question is
the highest average in NFL history.
D-Hop cannot do that, man.
I said D-Hop.
I heard what you said. He's not doing that at this point.
D-Hop can't get you 97 yards a game. Yeah. What D Hopkins are you talking about?
Not in this point in his career, Kenny.
Hey, Mike, can I want to answer this question just because it is such an interesting thing. But when you have a talented guy, you don't let him walk out the door. I think it would be a mistake to let the guy go out the door. And here's the thing. He would be getting whatever, $30 million on the poster. On the billboard, it would say $30 million, but it would really look like 5 years where the first year was like $12 million. The second year was and you would never see that 30 million from a cap point. And then when they were ready to move on or redo it, they would just move it to a different team. So you don't want to lose that player. You don't let that player walk out the door.
And if I can jump in, because I was going to go somewhere right along with my answer. Yes, I'm paying him that $32 million. Because look at what the salary cap is projected to be. It's projected to go up by $20 million a year over the next 3-4 years. Anyways, in 4 years from now, that money's basically absorbed anyways, because the salary cap overall for your entire team has went up that much.
Right.
And again, I'm not going to say he's the next Randy Moss yet, but he's the best wide receiver we've had since Randy Moss. And I would be okay with saying he's a generational talent, and you just don't let guys like that walk out the door, especially not when he's the face of your franchise.
Right. Hey, teams will be lined up at the door if we were to let him let any kind of money he asked for this go out the window.
Let's get Jamison Williams in here for some betting advice.
I saw a comment from Rob Haskell's in a chat that said the salary cap doesn't exist. Do you remember that, Rob?
I said it was a myth because the salary
cap was a myth, and I thought you were crazy, and it turned out to be true that every one of these GMs somehow found the money. They restructured everything somewhere. So I have to give you a little bit of credit there, Rob, that you have made me a believer that the salary cap certainly isn't the hard line that I used to think that it was. It's a fluid, flexible thing that is meant to be changed and manipulated. So for sure, I just don't think that one player under the current salary cap is worth 32 is what we're saying. 32 million to one player. You are hamstringing the rest of your options. That's all I'm saying. Let's move on. Somebody brought up DeAndre Hopkins, and there's been a lot of chatter. The Lions fans are split right down the middle as far as whether I'm in the camp of I say let's give him 1 year, 18 million. OBJ got 18 million for 1 year. Do you think DeAndre Hopkins is worth 18 million? Brad, will ask you, regardless of the team, is DeAndre Hopkins worth 18 million per season?
Look, DeAndre Hopkins is one of my favorite wide receivers over the last decade and a half. But let's be honest, he is not the same receiver he was. He's going to give you some firm, strong hands. He's probably going to win some 50-50s for you.
Yes, sir.
But he's not going to have the speed that he once was. He's not taking the top off. He's going to be a good second, third receiver for a lot of teams. But
okay. I love that take. You're absolutely right. When it comes to 50-50 balls, he's the best in the league. Now, Brad, you told me you would give Justin Jefferson $32 million, but you won't give DeAndre Hopkins $18 million. So you'd still have $14 million and DeAndre Hopkins rather than giving one player $32 million. Doesn't that make sense to you, Brad?
It doesn't, because these days, and the Vikings are proving that through the draft and through some homegrown talent, you can field a pretty professional second, third, and fourth receiver. And if you got a superstar that's taken, 60% of your balls, and you're able to spread that around to a couple of good-handed tight ends and a solid second, third, and fourth receiver, you don't have to pay all of those guys top money. We just happen to be sitting in a boatload of riches right now with the receiver class.
You know what?
Go ahead, Anthony.
Wide receivers like Justin Jefferson don't come along every day, man. I'm sorry. They don't come along every day. And if the Vikings don't pay him $33 million, somebody's going to pay him because he's that guy. That's like I'm going to go back. That's like having Randy Moss in his prime. They weren't getting that kind of money back then. They weren't getting that kind of money, but no, they didn't let Randy Moss walk, man. When Randy Moss when his top was raised, Randy Moss got a raise. And that's the way I feel about JJ, man. I mean, that cat is the real deal. If the Vikings don't pay him $33 million, somebody's going to pay him $33 million. He's definitely worth more than OBJ, and he's definitely worth more than D-Hop.
Yep.
Somebody's going to pay him.
But is DeAndre Hopkins worth $18 million for one season?
Yes.
I'll answer the question that no one else is answering. Yes, he is. If you're that team that's right there, like looking for the Bears, we're not even discussing they need to be at. The Bears are not that precipice, but if you're a team like San Francisco, Philadelphia, one of those teams that's like right there on the precipice, he could be that last piece. Like Chicago, we're not even concerned with D-Hop right now. Like if this is a year from now, would we be looking at D-Hop more seriously? Yes, we probably would. If we were, let's say we make the playoffs this season, and let's say we squeak in the playoffs, our team this season, would we look? Yeah, thank you, Russell. Would we look at D-Hop next off season and pay him 18? Yeah, at that point, yeah. So you're looking at teams were playoff teams last year, or maybe a few that just missed, like the Lions, where they're thinking, okay, we're on the precipice. 18 mil for 1 year. He's worth that money to a team that's a contender right now. He's not worth that money to a Carolina. He's not worth that money to an Indianapolis because they're seeing themselves now 2-3 years out. Chicago is seeing itself as at least another year out. Would he make sense for Minnesota? If Minnesota honestly, truly believes that they're in the window right now, then yeah, he makes sense to be a part of a massive 300-headed monster there. So D-Hop is definitely worth $18 million to a team that's right there in contention.
Thank you. Russell Wayne, you as a Lions fan, do you like the idea of D-Hop coming to Detroit for 1 year, $18 million?
Well, I mean, if we had the money for it, right now on what I love that Brad Holmes does is like the 1 year prove it deals. So I don't think that we need a guy like DeAndre Hopkins long term, but like for this year where you have Jamison Williams, who's going to be out for 6 weeks, I think that bringing a guy like DeAndre Hopkins in can fill that wide receiver void for the first 6 weeks, and then when Jamison comes back, then you're snapping. I mean, Jamison, you got a really good
unproven commodity. You've already signed Marvin Jones for that role since you lost DJ Chark. And I think if you add DeAndre Hopkins to this Lions team, it's trouble for everyone else, buddy. That
for sure. I like it. I would add him if the price was right. I wouldn't pay $18 million for him. I think
that's
that he
the
could.
Question.
No. Go snort dirt. Go snort
so
dirt.
Is DeAndre Hopkins trying to be a number one?
We don't need it like that. No, we need a Band-Aid. You come for 12 and some incentives.
I ain't coming for 12.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's what Brad Holmes is going to say. He's going to say, we're trying to win a championship this year.
Did anyone else
I'm
hear
not
that?
paying.
That he turned down 15 from Buffalo. Jamez, did you hear about that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's his fan.
Yeah.
Hey.
Jamez, did you hear anything about that Buffalo offer to DeAndre Hopkins?
No, I didn't. I heard that they were interested in him, but I did see a report today that said they got the Lions as the second best odds to land him.
Really?
Second best. There's only one more team ahead. I forgot exactly who that team was. There's only one more team ahead of the Lions that were favored to land him.
Wow, I did not hear that. I did hear that New England was interested in him.
But Buffalo makes sense.
Point. New England's not on the precipice. They don't need that one more piece to get them over the top. They need a lot more than that. So DeAndre Hopkins to New England doesn't make a lot of sense. I love the fact that they can get him in Detroit. I know half the Lions fans think it's crazy. Put it in the comments. If you can tell us what side of the fence you're on if you're a Lions fan. Yay or nay, should DeAndre Hopkins, should they make a move to bring him to Motown? And would that be the piece that puts us over the edge? So we've been talking about these wide receivers a lot. What we haven't talked about is quarterbacks, which usually seems to drive all the conversations. Teddy Bridgewater is still out there, and he's a very quality backup. I know he played in Minnesota already. Do any of you guys see any of these teams in the North as a good fit for Teddy Bridgewater? We'll start with you, Brad. Anywhere you see Teddy Bridgewater a good fit?
Well, I think for once we're actually in a pretty decent situation in Minnesota. Otherwise, I'd say have him come on back home because he was a crowd favorite. Teddy's a great guy in the NFL, and he's one of those guys you really want your kids to watch. So for that matter, I like a Teddy Bridgewater.
So you're a Teddy Bridgewater fan from his time in Minnesota.
I'm a fan of the man that he is. It was terrible when he had that incident with his knee, the way it just came apart like that. He was starting to put himself together a little bit. I think he might have had a little bit of a future in Minnesota because he was kind of given the reins there. Had that not happened, who knows where we'd be.
If I were Brian Gutekunst, that dude in Green Bay, if I was that guy, I would totally bring Teddy Bridgewater into Green Bay because I think that he'd be a great fit there.
That's a good spot for him.
There's a veteran presence. I think it'd be great. He's a great teammate. Teddy Bridgewater brings a lot to the table. If you're a Packer fan and you're out there, tell us if you would like to see Teddy Bridgewater come to Green Bay. Supposedly the Lions had made an offer to him before the draft, but now that we drafted Henry Hooker, I don't know if that offer is still available. He's definitely a capable quarterback. He played with Dan Campbell down there in New Orleans. When Drew Brees was out, he had a winning record. He was 5-1 as a starter with New Orleans. He's done well in this league. Russ, do we have that photo of Teddy? We have what Teddy brings to the table.
There it is. It's up. It's up so you can see it. I mean, love is all you need. Shouldn't the
Yeah,
Packers shine?
No, that fits. That fits right there. That'll work right there.
That would work.
Teddy
Right. That would work for you, Anthony.
I mean, he's a free agent.
Yeah. Hey, the Packers about to sign him.
They don't regret it if they don't.
You should be rooting for that. If you're a Packer fan, you should be rooting for that. Yes.
That is
for real.
Yeah.
For real.
He may take the job by week 3.
If it's understood, it need not be said.
Hey, yeah.
He has a huge amount of football knowledge that he can bring to the table. He could be a backup corner. I'm sorry. What? He's a free agent. This is news.
I'm gonna say, Jessica Love will be a backup within 3 weeks.
Viewers.
Yes. Bridgewater would be the starter in Green Bay in 3 weeks.
Jessica Love will be a backup by week 4, man.
Yes. I agree.
I'm sorry that we stooped to that level. That was all me. I want to let that be a disclaimer.
Yep.
Russ was against that.
That was a main event Mike original.
But I insisted on that bit. We'd like to
Speaking of originals, Mike.
Fan, a speedy recovery. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, every Monday at 7 p.m. we're right here. And hey, tune in to us for the phone sessions. Russell, where can our viewers catch the phone sessions?
Well, I mean, right here. I'm sorry. Let me get this thing back on. Yeah, we do the phone sessions every single weekday morning. We're talking like 11 a.m. We just jump on. We talk football. I mean, it's all just like this. where I'm going to bring up all NFC North type of topics, and I'm really just going to cater it to whoever wants to be, on and talking football, because it is June, guys. You do realize that we're the most avid football fans on the planet Earth right now. Everybody else is tuned out. So congratulations to each and every one of you for being fans of your team in the best way possible. Yeah, one pride.
Right.
Yes,
and for
sir.
the whole panel and for the Maestro Russell Wayne on Main Event Mike, saying God bless each and every one of you.
Hey,
Peace out.
bear down. Good night, everybody.
Skull.
Bear down.
Get well soon, Greg.
We miss you, Greg. Yeah. You like that intro better, don't you, Ken? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what, man? I decided that I wanted to just, we're gonna do the encore, and I didn't hit stop yet. I don't know if you want me to hit stop. I'll hit stop, but if anybody's still out there, but it was a good day today.
Oh, I took my background off. Oh well.
Oh, that's all right. I'll